My name is Lauren Fox, and I'm here to describe the UbD Stage 1 Identifying Desired Results process. The Understanding by Design, or UbD framework, follows a backward design process where planning begins with the end in mind. Therefore, Stage 1 of the UbD framework is focused on the desired results that students will show at the end of the unit. Wiggins and McTighe teach that understanding is shown in two main ways. The first main way is called transfer, and it happens when students can apply their understanding, knowledge, and skills to new situations. The second way of understanding is shown when students can make inferences and connections to other previous areas of understanding. Each portion of this stage should be thought of as interconnected. No part is independent or isolated from another. The first part of Stage 1 is called the Course and Unit Summary. In this section, you are describing the subject, the course name, and the overall framework of time, grade level, and keywords that are used within the big picture course. You may even add in a specific organization that the course is made for, as well as what type of education setting there will be. If there's a textbook specifically used for this course, you will include it here, as well as online curriculum materials. In this next subsection, you're describing the specific unit itself. What is the title of this unit within the course and the time frame? With the big picture of the course, where does this unit fit in on a weekly basis? You'll also describe how you're delivering the content, if it's face-to-face, blended, online, or in another way, and the course design, why the course is being developed, how you will teach it in a time frame, and then the level of expertise that should be applied. The overall unit summary is next, and in this area, you will talk about the big idea. The big idea tells students why their learning is important. In this section, it's different than Stage 1 because you're trying to make your big idea inspirational, and it should not be teachery or boring. It should be something that inspires kids to want to continue learning throughout this unit. The next section is the professional organizations for content. Most professional organizations have created competencies or standards that students need to master in their field. These professional organizations can include kindergarten through 12th grade education, higher education, or they can include the corporate world organizations. To dive deeper into competencies or standards, these are connected to the professional organizations themselves. The professional organizations create competencies, and those are knowledge or skills, attributes, or attitudes that allow a person to do a job properly and successfully. In the kindergarten through 12th grade education world, we call these competencies standards. Common Core state standards have been adopted by 43 out of the 50 states for English, language arts, and mathematics. These are the most widely used standards throughout our entire country. However, individual states have created standards for other subject areas such as science or social studies. Again, standards or competencies are created by professional organizations that you are listing above. The next section is the transfer section. This is how learning is transferred from one context to another. Many would argue that transfer is the ultimate goal of all education because it shows that students can apply what they have learned to a real-world setting. Near transfer is when a student can apply what they have learned to a similar situation as what they learned in the classroom. Far transfer is when a student can apply what they have learned to a dissimilar situation. Far transfer is the overall goal as it implies deeper understanding. In this section, you write your transfer term or what your long-term independent accomplishments that you desire for your students to be, and you tie them to a competency that you have listed in the above section. The next main section is about meaning. This is where students piece together their knowledge and skills to create deep levels of understanding. This is seen when students test ideas with guidance from their teachers to create new ideas that are useful. The first subsection of meaning is about creating essential questions. Essential questions point in the direction of both meaning and transfer. These are questions that provoke deep thought and discussion. Essential questions do not arrive at a correct answer, but they're ongoing. Interacting with essential questions should train learners to ask and pursue important questions throughout their lives. In this section, you create essential questions, and they also need to be tied to a competency code. Again, tying everything back to a competency code that is set in the above sections, make sure that all of our instruction is streamlined and focused on the main things. The next part is meaning with understandings. Understanding statements make clear the level of understanding that students will need in order to answer the essential questions from above. Each understanding statement begins by saying, students will understand that each essential question could have multiple understanding statements. Therefore, the amount of essential questions from above will not directly relate to the amount of understandings listed in this section. As always, we're tying each understanding statement to a competency code that connects to all other sections from above. The last main part of stage 1 is acquisition. The acquisition section focuses on students acquiring knowledge and skills as they learn. The acquisition of knowledge happens or refers to the declarative information that students learn by the end of the unit. This includes facts, vocabulary, and basic concepts. These are right and wrong types of information. Lastly, the acquisition of skills refers to procedures learners need to acquire to deeply understand the essential questions. These can be basic know-how-to skills or tool operational skills.